Charlotte V. Manor, aka your girl Aquarius, and today I'm just on here to talk about my least favorite genres of books and my favorite genre of books. This is going to be a quick video. I just wanted to have a video recorded for my new booktube channel, and I decided I'm going to start with my favorite genres, my top 3, and then my least favorite genres, my top 3. So let's start with my least favorite genres of books. This is a discussion. Feel free to list yours and why you feel that way. My least favorite genre, starting with number 3 and working my way up to my least favorite. I guess starting off, it would kind of surprisingly be a book strictly on romance. So my number 3 would just be romance, because I just find it very disrespectful to have a book strictly about a relationship between two people. No shade to relationships, but I don't understand why I'm gonna read over 300 pages about love. Like, love is a beautiful thing, but no love is that interesting to me where I want to see it span across 300 to 600 pages. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Books nowadays have gotten so bold where they're literally just making books of fluff. And granted, there's a time and a place for that, but I don't think it should be up there with like the real deal. And when I say real deal, I mean the books with plot, suspense, you know, romance sprinkled throughout. I prefer books where if romance is going to be the thing that we focus on, add something else, and not some crap where the protagonist gets kidnapped and then the hero has to show up to save her. Add more than that. So that's why romance is number 3 for me. I'm just so sick and tired of the pages of build up just so we can get a stinking kiss at the end, or they go all the way. I mean, it's alright, but I feel like once you've read that once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, I feel like after that it's like just reusing the same points of, oh no, this is a miscommunication. Pages of trying to figure out this miscommunication through the help of others, and then finally you meet, have a conversation, and realize all of those pages before were worthless. So enough of that. I just really don't like romance on its own. It could be a big part of the story, but something else needs to be there every step of the way to keep it interesting, which is why when I read romance, it's usually in a sci-fi or fantasy setting. Think Harry Potter. Somewhere along the way, Hermione and Ron got together and it was great. If you're a fan of them, I know some people wanted Harry to end up with her from the movies. They did something there. In the books, I never saw it, but I know in the movies, people are like, oh, they should have ended up together. On to number 2 for my least favorite genre. I guess it would have to be mysteries. I know. I know some people love mystery novels. I can handle them when they're really good, but I've just read a lot of bad ones, and it's like the killer was this person all along, and then the person was always there with the protagonist trying to help her every step of the way. So it's kind of like, after, again, like romance, after you read 2 or 3 novels like that, it just gets kind of stale. So if I like mystery, but I would say it's down there with my least favorite genre, because rarely do I see it done right. And my top one for my least favorite genre would be autobiographies. Like, I don't know if it's a genre of itself, but I just don't like it. Like, It's very rare for me to like a autobiography. I'm not trying to say people are boring. The things they go through are boring. I just don't find it interesting. And if it's a life-changing story that we can all learn from, I'm here for it. But I feel like at this point, autobiographies are getting played out. Unless it's something unique, I just don't find it interesting. For example, I think people are very strong when they have to face a disease and things like that, but so many stories have been written on certain diseases to the point where I remember when I used to work at a writing center, one of my bosses would tell me that it was just like, if it's an autobiography on these diseases, trash it. Like, it's too saturated. There are too many stories on cancer. There are too many autobiographies. Like, we've had so many of them within the past years, and the first couple were great. It was overcoming, learning to live with it and things like that. But after the first few cancer stories, it gets old. We're not trying to downplay the seriousness of it, but we've had other people articulate it so well and have life-changing stories that we don't need anymore. So that stuck with me, and I kind of feel that way too, which is why I don't know if autobiographies are a genre or if they fall in the nonfiction section, but I would just wanted to point it out by itself. My number one least favorite genre is autobiographies. Rarely do I read a really good one, like Memoirs of a Geisha or the Slave Chronicles, Frederick Douglass biography. Those are really good ones. I feel like once you've read them, you pretty get a good idea, unless the story is new, fresh, and groundbreaking. So that's why my least favorites are romance, mystery, and autobiographies. Now, really quick, my favorite genres are from 3 to 1. I would say sci-fi for number 3, fantasy romance for number 2. Like, I do like romance, just not on its own. And if you are gonna have it be on its own, more power to you, because that's a talent. And my first, I would honestly say, I'm going to categorize it as Chinese novels. Now, hear me out. I know Chinese novels are that's just very broad, because there are many branches to Chinese novels. I'm just going to use the broad term Chinese novels, because very rarely do I find some that I dislike, but maybe that's because the language barriers. They're probably not translating the bad Chinese novels, and they're only translating the good ones, which could happen vice versa, because when I meet people who are not American, they usually have positive things to say about writers from America, because chances are if we're translating these stories, it's because they're good. But that's just my theory on it. I don't know if that's true or not. So maybe when people are taking the time out to translate a story, they're not trying to translate a terrible story, which is probably why it's rare for me to find a bad Chinese novel. And Chinese novels vary. I know there are a lot of genres, but so far I've liked every genre except for autobiographies, because again, I have not checked out a Chinese autobiography. Maybe Memoirs of a Geisha, if that counts. I get asked a lot by people to write their autobiographies as well, so it's kind of just like, just over it. If you want me to list it out, I would say Chinese romance / historicals. Those be really good. You get to really see how it was back then, how politics play a huge role in survival and things like that. So there you have it, my least favorite genres and my favorite genres for books. That's all I have for today. I'm your girl Charlotte V Manor, aka Aquarius. Subscribe, hit the bell button if you find this video interesting. Comment what your favorite genres are. What's your least favorite genres? Do you actually like romance? Because I have nothing against it. Why do you like it? Do you dislike it like me? What's your reason? Let's start a discussion. I'll see you guys next time.